Today I'm reacting to your Friday Night SmackDown Hot Takes. Hot Takes is a weekly video series where I give you all a platform to be able to voice your thoughts, whether they're good thoughts, bad thoughts, or everything in between about the world of professional wrestling. So if you'd like to be featured in the next episode of Hot Takes, make sure that you follow me on X because I ask for your hot takes there after every episode of Raw, SmackDown, and every single WWE Premium Live event. By the way, I have merch now after like 2 years of you guys asking, so go to santizap.store to get yourself a nice t-shirt. You can get some Santizap merch, Wrestling is Cool merch, and we even have a limited edition Road to Las Vegas t-shirt that will disappear from the store closer to WrestleMania, so go grab yourself a shirt, folks. Santizap.store, go check it out. As always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications if you're a wrestling fan. I know that you're going to fall in love with his YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. All right, let's read your stupid shit. Even though we're close to WrestleMania, this title change just made sense. The presentation of this version of Shinsuke was always great, but they never capitalized on this presentation with a solid reign. LA Knight should have never lost at Survivor Series in the first place. Look, it's really easy to say that LA Knight should have never lost at Survivor Series in the first place to Shinsuke Nakamura now that we have the power of hindsight, a power of hindsight that now tells us that Shinsuke Nakamura's reign as United States champion was gonna be complete dog water. Because when it actually did happen, when Shinsuke debuted this new gimmick, I was in awe, and I love the decision that WWE decided to revitalize Shinsuke Nakamura's career with a new gimmick and with a championship reign, because LA Knight's reign was mediocre at best. So I figured, why not? Let's do it. I just didn't think that they were going to follow it up with one of the worst championship reigns that I've seen in an incredibly long amount of time in the WWE. We're talking over 3 months of Shinsuke Nakamura not only like not defending the championship, just straight up not being involved in anything on SmackDown of substance. One of the things that I noticed over the last couple of months is that the SmackDown mid-card was flourishing. I'm talking the rise of the likes of Jacob Fatu, Braun Strowman getting in there, Carmelo Hayes having great matches, LA Knight, Big Jim getting in there. We had Drew McIntyre getting himself involved in the mid-card every now and then. The mid-card was flourishing in the absence of the champion, and that to me will always spell disaster for a championship reign when the division can succeed without the champion. So I do believe that WWE just did Shinsuke Nakamura a huge disservice, but I also believe that this is the correct decision. It was never going to go anywhere, clearly, so you might as well revert the clock back, pretend like Survivor Series never happened, and put the title back on LA Knight and let him carry this thing and help carry this flourishing mid-card into WrestleMania. So it sucks that this is how they're doing my boy Shinsuke Nakamura, but congratulations to LA Knight. By the way, that was a hell of a match. That finishing like 5-minute sequence of the match with the ref shenanigans, with the mist, that was great. I just wish we got more of this during Shinsuke Nakamura's reign because there were glimpses. Like, remember that stare down between him and Jacob Fatu that never really amounted to anything? If only. The Steiner math of the tag team division. I really like this segment because whether they know it or not, they pretty much laid out the blueprint as to how they made the tag team division on SmackDown so awesome, so successful, and must-watch TV. So if I'm Adam Pearce, I'm literally watching him do all these scribbles, and I'm just going to copy the exact same thing that they did on SmackDown because it is this Steiner math of the tag team division that made the tag team division what it is today. Because you've got interweaving storylines, interweaving feuds, you've got the development of people that you never thought would get developed, like the Garzas, and then having them involved into greater storylines. This is how you build a tag team division. To the layman, it might have just looked like a bunch of scribbling on a board, but to the ones that know, they gave us the blueprint as to how to develop an awesome tag team division. I like how the top guys are addressing the Cena heel turn. Sets up a bunch of obvious feuds for this tour. I like it too. I really like the stuff with CM Punk on Monday Night Raw. That was great. I like the Randy Orton stuff, albeit it was definitely a lot more tongue-in-cheek, calling John Cena the Rock's bottom, which I thought, was pretty on the nose. But I do like this because you're right. It does set up our future feuds for what we should expect this John Cena to be going up against. Because think about it. During the initial planning phases that we all had where we were fantasy booking the John Cena retirement tour, we had him going up against a bunch of mid-carders to elevate them on his way out. Now, with a heel John Cena, to me, the only only people that can really go up against the heel John Cena is the top guys that are calling out John Cena, the CM Punks of the world, the Randy Ortons of the world. Those are the only guys that could step up to what I presume is going to be one of the most powerful characters in WWE lore, heel John Cena. Tiffany Stratton versus Piper Niven was a snooze fest. Tiffy needs matches ahead of WrestleMania, but that wasn't it. It wasn't the best match, but I am hopeful here that moving forward, now that we've had Charlotte Flair properly actually fire the first bullet into this feud, that we can get better things for Tiffany Stratton as opposed to these filler matches like she had at Elimination Chamber. I agree. I don't think that the match with Piper Niven was particularly memorable, but I am hopeful that moving forward from this point on, that we're going to get more significantly better matches and better like actual storyline consequential moments for this feud, because it just finally got started. LA Knight shouldn't have won the United States Championship tonight. I'd rather Knight and the others go into a multi-man match at WrestleMania where the winner gets the title there. Rooting for him at Mania will be much harder due to the fact that this is his second title reign and his first was underwhelming. Okay, but you're using evidence of one thing to create the conclusion for the other. This is a pretty common fallacy that people fall themselves into where, hey, it wasn't good then I don't think that it's going to be good now, even though you have no evidence to say that it's not going to be good now. Listen, I think it was necessary for this title to change hands. If you look at the Intercontinental Championship over on Monday Night Raw, it just had so much more momentum, and they needed to generate that type of momentum for the men over on SmackDown, especially with how good the division was. And listen, I do like multi-men matches, but usually multi-men matches usually are a symptom that they weren't able to come up with a good storyline. So they just say, US Championship, sure. 8-man ladder match, let's do that. And yeah, the match would end up being awesome and really entertaining, but devoid of good storylines. I'd rather them give themselves enough time with LA Knight, giving him the championship now and giving him 40 plus days to develop a storyline with whoever it might be, as opposed to just a token ladder match. When someone is passing out to a submission, WWE really needs to decide on if it's one arm drop or three. John Cena won at Elimination Chamber and the ref only checked Punk once, but in the match tonight between Fatu and Strowman, the ref checked Braun 3 times. I agree. I also have noticed this for like several years now, and it's not just a WWE thing. They do this obnoxiously in AEW as well. Pick a goddamn lane. Oh my God, Tony, put him out, put him out, put him out.
Jesus.
Dude, he can, oh my God. Oh, beautiful. Look at this. Yes.
Twice.
Oh, okay, that was gnarly. That, folks, was a sneak peek of this week's Wrestling is Cool Match Club, available exclusively on patreon.com/SantiZap. This week, we're looking at Penta versus Vampiro in a crazy Lucha Underground death match. Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy in the ultimate deletion in TNA. A genuinely perfect match between Mayu Iwatani and Syuri in Stardom in 2024. Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch at Payback 2023 in a steel cage match. And Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank 2016, including that Dean Ambrose cash-in. You're going to be getting this, plus the Raw reviews, the SmackDown reviews, the currently ongoing Royal Rumble watch-alongs, the currently ongoing Undertaker WrestleMania match watch-alongs, and more. All of this is content that we can never upload here to YouTube because it would just get blocked because of copyright constraints. So I do encourage you to come try the Patreon out at least for 1 month, because you're going to get so much more extra content, more content than I actually upload here on the YouTube page. So just come try it out for 1 month. Patreon.com/SantiZap, link in the description, link in the pinned comment. Let's get you back to the video. While Cody's promo was great, everything he does now just feels like second fiddle to John Cena's heel turn. I wasn't invested at all, and now more than ever, I'm invested in Cena winning number 17 by destroying Cody at WrestleMania. Well, of course everything is going to feel second fiddle to John Cena's heel turn, because it's John Cena's heel turn. Doesn't mean that just because whatever Cody goes on to do on a week-to-week basis, just because it doesn't top the John Cena heel turn, which, by the way, spoiler alert, probably nothing will moving forward for the rest of time because it's John Cena's heel turn, it doesn't mean that we can't have still great moments to enjoy. I just don't want you to rob yourself of enjoyment of lesser things simply because now you want to compare them to the biggest thing that's ever happened in professional wrestling. I also just just disagree. Like, I was really excited to hear what Cody had to say. I agree it was a great promo, but I didn't think, dang, this just feels like second fiddle to John Cena. No, like, I needed to know, what is his response? Where's his brain at? Where are his emotions at now that one of his heroes, one of the people that he's been emulating with the John Cena's schedule, has stabbed him in the back? I was enthralled. It's been a while since a gimmick has had the potential aura that Shinsuke Nakamura's did. The fact that they left him in catering basically every week as champion was a huge disservice to him and the title. The title reign being bad is entirely on WWE, and Nakamura got done dirty. Obviously, like, I don't have information to really go off of. I just have whatever is presented on screen, and what was presented on screen was, like I've already said, one of the worst championship reigns that I've seen in a really long time, and it is a huge disservice because this is one of the coolest gimmick shifts that I've seen somebody do in the WWE in modern times. I still think that there's something that you could do with this Shinsuke Nakamura. I do believe that part of the presentational aura is gone just sort of by default now, but I hope that they don't give up on this, because to me, this is the most interesting that they've made Shinsuke Nakamura since his initial call up from NXT, but yet somehow they managed to fuck that up too. I don't like what they're doing with Drew McIntyre right now. Nothing against Damian Priest. He's phenomenal, but after all that work that Drew put in during 2024, he should be in a marquee title match. Being on the WrestleMania card is great, but I wish that he had won the Rumble to face Gunther. He deserves more, in my opinion. You know what conclusion I've come to draw from all of this? Because all of us pretty much feel this way, that Drew McIntyre had such a good year, he should be doing better. We're all kind of turning into Drew McIntyre, where we just keep tugging on the heartstrings of the shoulda, woulda, couldas of the world, as opposed to just accepting reality, and our reality is a match against Damian freaking Priest. And like you said, nothing against Damian Priest. I really like Damian Priest. It just doesn't feel right. It just feels like Drew should be doing so much more than just a match against Damian Priest, a feud that I don't know, man, just from like initial fan reaction, not many people are getting behind. And that's not, again, a knock to Damian Priest. It just doesn't seem like these two should be feuding with one another. They should be doing different things. Like, when I think about when we were fantasy booking WrestleMania at the start of the year, we were all down the path that Drew McIntyre should be gunning after Roman Reigns, that he was going to be this bloodline vigilante, taking out bloodline members left, right, and center until he eventually sets up a match against the tribal chief himself. But no, like, it's now Wepa. The Chamber winner stories are so much better than the Rumble winner stories. It's insane. I honestly didn't even notice this until you pointed it out, but you're right. And this is a weird juxtaposition compared to most years when usually the Chamber storylines sort of feel like the B plots. But here, both Chamber storylines are the A plots. Hell, the Chamber winner on the women's side has two A plots going up against Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, whatever's going on there, and the stuff with Naomi and Jade Cargill. And then, of course, the John Cena stuff with the John Cena heel turn. Like, we literally have generational storylines going on for both the men and the women's Chamber winners. And then we look at the Rumble winners and Charlotte Flair. That storyline with Tiffany Stratton's now really moving forward very well. And then Jey Uso, Gunther, that thing's been an uphill battle ever since the initial start of it. The Cody Rhodes promo felt very underwhelming. You just got the life beat out of you at Elimination Chamber, and I feel like you have to come out with a ton more aggression than what Cody had to say. I feel like he should be more enraged with all of the violence that he had to go through. I mean, to each his own, but I feel like we got the more human response out of Cody Rhodes. Again, this isn't just a guy that got beat up. This isn't just a guy that ran into an enemy and then lost and came out with a black eye. Yeah, sure, okay, then be angry. This is a guy that got stabbed in the back by the ultimate good guy. Imagine getting punched in the back of the head by the Pope if you're super religious and Catholic, all right? You'd be like, yo, what the fuck, Pope? Don't do that. That's probably how Cody Rhodes feels in this situation, being backstabbed by the guy that he's been trying to emulate in John Cena. Like Cody Rhodes said in that promo, you think that you're the last of this breed, but you're just simply not. They're two sides of the same coin. So to have somebody that has reserved anger, confusion, sadness all in one, to me, that makes sense. And to me, that demonstrates a Cody Rhodes that is battling with more human emotions as opposed to just the black or white, happy, angry. Where the flip is Nikki Bella? They wasted a whole number 30 slot on on her, and she's got nothing for Mania as of yet, but feels terrible as number 30 should play a key factor in the build to Mania. I don't know that number 30 needs to have a key factor in the build to Mania. I'm not married to that necessarily. If you are, then yeah, this is problematic. But I did think that Nikki Bella was going to come back on a semi-full-time basis, and I feel like Nikki Bella, whether you like it or not, would have been a good addition to maybe like the women's mid-card, help build that up as well. I don't know. It's not as if I'm clamoring or missing Nikki Bella, but I was just under the expectation that we were going to be getting more from her. So I also echo your sentiment of where the flip is Nikki Bella. The emotion in that whole segment was great. Listen, in a show that had LA Knight winning the United States Championship, the return to SmackDown of Randy Orton, we had some good matches, the Jacob Fatu, Braun Strowman stuff, the great Cody Rhodes promo. This shit was the best thing all night. This thing between Jade Cargill, Bianca, and Naomi was so good. The acting between Bianca and Naomi was so over the top, but it worked on me. It felt real. It was the epitome of I did it for Bianca, and I was so behind all of the narratives that they were interweaving with this storyline. I love the emotion between Naomi really feeling vindicated that she did this because she felt like Jade Cargill was piggybacking and stealing the fame and the glamour from Bianca Belair, who is Naomi's best friend, and Naomi felt like she was being set aside as second fiddle for Jade Cargill, who she only just saw as a leech. Like, to me, the emotional dynamics between all of this is so good, and the delivery of Naomi's speech was fucking brilliant. The crying, the beatdown afterwards, I thought that this was one of the best segments of the year thus far. I loved it. I saw some people in my chat saying that it was cringe with the acting and with the crying and the screaming. I thought that worked for me. Maybe it's the Latino in me that loves Mexican telenovelas. That might be it, because I was going Dios mio and I wanted to cry at points during that segment. I really hope tonight was the end of the never-ending Chelsea Green versus Michin feud. I think it is. I feel like they are definitely going towards a match against Zelina Vega here. They've now been teasing Zelina Vega for several weeks. I feel like it's time to move on, all right? I love Michin, and that was a really entertaining match, and she has been a great addition to the women's mid-card, but she can't be the only opponent in the women's mid-card for Chelsea Green. We need to move on, and we got to move on soon. The Naomi and Bianca promo was great to me. It started off pretty mid, but it really picked up towards the end. It felt like I was watching a reality TV show and some total diva shit, but 10,000 times better. I agree. I love this. I don't think that I've seen a storyline like this with this much emotional baggage behind it. Obviously, we've seen emotional storylines play out with the men, but when we see the emotions being played out like this, like we have in the women's division, this I haven't seen before. So I was smiling. I was shocked. I went through every emotion during that segment. I thought all three of those women absolutely crushed this segment. The Fatal 5-Way match at WrestleMania could arguably be the greatest tag team match if booked correctly. So one of the things that I mentioned earlier was something about token ladder matches, right? Like, just put everybody from the Intercontinental Championship mid-card division and let's have a ladder match with them. Sure, why not? Where the match ends up being great, but usually there really isn't great follow-up because there was never a good storyline to begin with. With the tag team division, however, they've built a great storyline between all five of them, where a ladder match between all these guys would not feel like a token ladder match. It would feel actually earned, and I would love to see it. Tiffany needs to get off the floor, man. This build stinks. The build does stink, but I feel like the build technically just started. I know that there were already some moments between Tiffy and Charlotte, but it felt like a soft start. Now, with Charlotte taking out Tiffany Stratton's knee, doing a promo about it, now I actually feel like we can, from here on out, see where this feud goes. If it doesn't get better within the next couple of weeks, I feel like now we can start complaining. But I know that it feels longer that they've been feuding, but I don't actually think that we can start judging it until as of really this episode of Friday Night SmackDown, because this was really when the first bullet was fired. It's a great episode, but I'm not sure why the crowd was so silent. I don't know. It was Philadelphia. Maybe it was too cold again. I'm happy Alba Fyre Fyre is back. This is a great way to get her back on TV and hopefully get more eyes on her since she is so talented and could be a champion someday. And I hope that this all works out for her. Fingers freaking crossed. And I was just so happy to see Alba Fyre being the one under the hood because she is so talented. I was nervous that she was going to be part of these layoffs, and I'm just glad that they found something for her. Just something to allow her to demonstrate, as you said, how good she is, because she, even though she was great as part of the Witches and the Unholy Union, she's an excellent singles wrestler, and hopefully we get to see more of this as she plays one of the henchmen and the bodyguards for Chelsea Green, and maybe we can see more of a comedic, more social side of Alba Fyre as well. Alexa Bliss's presence was very missed tonight, and I think it's going to be missed for a while until they figure out what they're doing with the Wyatt Six. Like, is this thing going to pick up before WrestleMania? I feel like the only thing that Alexa Bliss can really develop going into WrestleMania is something to do with the Wyatt Six, and if they continue to be on the shelf, I feel like so is the, I guess, push of Alexa Bliss, for lack of better words. Naomi is about to go on a heel run of a lifetime. Dude, I'm pumped. I haven't seen like a proper heel Naomi in the main event scene. I think that this is going to be such an awesome career-making feud for Naomi. It's funny because so many people are just sort of seeing Naomi as like the third fiddle here, the one that's not really got too much to gain or too much to lose. I so disagree. I feel like showing her chops in terms of acting and showing her range, going from babyface to heel, and just kind of seeing like the two complete extremes for her, I think are going to help elevate her career and show the world just how damn good she is in both corners of wrestling, babyface or heel. I'm excited to see what she looks like as a heel nowadays because it's been forever. You know, I've always just imagined the glow and the party dance and all of the good vibes. So what does heel Naomi look like? I'm excited to see what the, I guess, heel makeover will look like with her. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching this episode of Hot Takes. I'll see you in the next one. Go get yourself a t-shirt, all right? Go get one. All right, bye. Get out of here.